People need to know that I'm not using drugs right now. You could drug test me right this second, and I would drug test completely clean except for marijuana. I'm not doing anything to harm my child. I'm doing everything I can. For people to sit there and degrade me and say that I'm a mom and all this other stuff, you know, it's not right, and they don't even know the situation.
Well, Sara and Sadie both claim they haven't used anything other than marijuana in a couple of weeks, and then as we got to talking, we found out, well, that's not true.
Since we got here.
Since they've been here, they've used cocaine and marijuana as well. Joining us now on the stage is the medical director for the Los Angeles Department of Child and Family Services, well-known author, a member of my advisory board, Dr. Charles Sophie. Dr. Sophie, thank you for being here. Also, I've asked Los Angeles-based attorney and child advocate Areva Martin to be here, and I would like to talk to her about Sara's unborn baby's rights here in just a minute. You two have been listening to everything we've been talking about so far here. Yes. And we've got three people involved here. We've got Sadie. She says she's an addict. We've got Sara, who says no, she's not, but she does use drugs. And then we have an unborn child here that's now at 7 months, would you say? Almost 7 months, so certainly viable at this point. Now, you know, there's a lot of history you may have missed that we talked about while you were gone that the two of you heard. Your mother's parenting skills when you two were growing up was abominable. In my opinion, she was negligent, she was abusive, she was an alcoholic. The stress that was placed on the two of you during that time, you probably don't even have an appreciation for how divergent that is from what you deserved to have. We saw stress signs in you at 2 years old, pulling your hair out, 5 years old, trying to jump out a window, drinking leftover alcohol, sitting around. I look at the two of you and I don't ask myself why you have problems with drugs and anger and dysfunctional behavior. I ask myself, why not? I mean, I totally get it. I know why you are making the choices you're making, and there's nothing you can do to undo that now, but you can do the right thing now. So I get it. I get it. It isn't fair. You didn't get a fair shake when you were growing up. You didn't.
I do know that using drugs of any sort is not okay when you're pregnant, but I am good friends with people that did use when they were pregnant, and their children are perfectly fine. They have no problems. That does not mean that I think that my son isn't gonna have any problems. He very well could, but it's not gonna change the fact that, like, I still am gonna love the shit out of him.
And Dr. Sophie, I want to talk to you in a minute as the medical director of the largest Department of Child and Family Services unit in the entire United States. You are the medical director of that. I want to talk to you about that aspect of it in a minute. But first, I want to talk to you about this from a medical standpoint, because I think Sara, in her mind, just because she doesn't know, I don't think she's trying to be hard-headed about it, I just think she doesn't get the ramifications of what she's doing on this unborn child. From a medical standpoint, what are the risks here?
I mean, the earlier in the pregnancy that you insult that child with drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, you're risking the development of their spinal cord, their brain, their vital organs, kidney, liver, all that stuff. You have put, from birth to at least the first trimester, about 10 or 20 barriers in this kid's way already. We don't know what the ramifications are going to be. So, I mean, from a medical standpoint, every puff you do, every snort you take, you're adding another problem for that child.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that, and I didn't know that. And
this is not to scare you like we're just making noise.
no,
You're
I know,
killing
and
this
I'm
baby.
not trying to make excuses. I'm not.
This is a loop of babies that are born addicted. I want you to, everyone, just take a look at this.
Look,
These,
You gotta look at it.
you have to, Sarah, you have to feel it, because that's what's going to make an impact for you.
And I wish we could show her, Dr. Phil, women on floors in prison delivering babies. 'Cause that's a reality.
Okay.
Sara, these babies shake. They're in withdrawal when they're born. They're craving their heroin. They can't suck. They can't eat. They get diarrhea. They vomit. They don't gain weight. They don't bond to you because they're too busy neurologically. There's so much noise going on for them.
And then they have delays. Often they don't talk. They suffer from mental retardation.
That's the reality of why I agreed to talk to you. Because I don't think any young woman with a clear view of what the risks were would make the decisions you're making. I think if you knew then what you know now.
I would never want to do that to my baby.
Okay, but so you've learned something here today, right? And
I'm so sorry. Like, I cannot wait to tell. Like,
and the fact is, it may not be too late, because what needs to happen at this point, and Dr. Sophie, help me out here, I don't want to get out of my lane, but what needs to happen at this point is a very different type of prenatal care, a very different regimen that could bolster this baby and close any gaps that may have happened. There are things that can be done remedially that can help this situation. And your baby may be completely fine. We don't know. We need to know. You have a choice to make right now, and that is to voluntarily submit yourself to an inpatient program of care for you and your baby to find out where you are and deal with your drug use, with your anger, with your bitterness towards your mother, which is very understandable. I understand. I mean, you call her every name in the book.
no, I don't. I don't call her every name in the book, actually.
Well, you must have a different book than I do. What does she say to you? What does she call you? I got a bleeper.
Okay. I've been called everything from a bitch to the word to idiot, freaking moron, stupid, lazy, selfish. The latest thing was I've been an since I got diagnosed with cancer.
It's not like I call you at all. It's not like I'm like, oh, mom, every single day, blah, blah, blah. No, mom,
No.
It's rarely, ever.
It's just like
Ever.
when you're mad, you say things you don't mean, and it's like
I
you
know.
need to learn how to control it. That's it. It's not like you mean it. You love mom. I know you do. It's not that.
Those things you have to deal with, and and if you fail to do so, then let me now speak to you not just as a general physician, but as the medical director of a Child Protective Services, a Department of Child and Family Service, whatever it's called around the country. What happens in these situations?
I mean, the bottom line is you have to understand that you can have this baby, it'll come out of your body, but you may never hold it. And that doesn't mean that goes to them. Because any child welfare agency that gets involved is going to see them as accomplices, just like she is. So there's no relative in their right mind here who has good judgment, who's made any decisions to protect that child. So they're not inclined to give that baby to them. I know you think you have a second part of your head saying, well, I'll give custody to my mother, like you came out and said earlier. That's not your choice. That's going to be the government's choice. And they have not demonstrated good decision-making. So none of them would be eligible at this point until everybody gets their act together. You have 3 months to do it. I would definitely get on that.
I'm trying to derail all of that. There's a term called mandated reporter. There are certain people in our society that are mandated by law to report abuse and neglect and endangerment of a child. I'm one of those people. He is one of those people. She is one of those people. 1, 2, 3 are all mandated reporters. We have no choice but under the law to report what's going on here. Unless you do something dramatically to turn this around. I am going to offer you an opportunity, and I'm going to offer you an opportunity, both of you opportunities, to go in to dual diagnosis treatment programs that are going to help you with drugs and medical supervision and detoxification, and help you with this baby and figure out where things are and what's going on. Ben Levinson, stand up if you would. Ben, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Ben.
Ben is the founder and CEO of Hannah's House by Origins Recovery Centers, and they're in South Padre, Texas.
Right.
These are folks that have treatment plans designed specifically for women. And it is a dual diagnosis treatment center that will deal with every aspect of who you are and help to provide the medical care and supervision you need to get a handle on whether or not damage has been done and what needs to be done to help this baby. Am I describing this accurately, Ben?
Absolutely, and we're not just, I mean, we're in the fight for two lives here. This is a situation where Sara, we got to get honest. We have layers and layers and echoes of trauma and alcoholism. We have to start digging in. We have to start making some changes.
I'll ask you first, do you want to take advantage of that offer to get yourself back on the straight and narrow, or do you not?
I mean, of course, but why can't I do that close to the people that I love?
Because the one I'm offering you is here, and I don't want you close to the people you love. I want you away from the toxic history and pattern that you've had, the ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And interestingly enough, your family will be involved in this treatment program, and they will be there, and
They're not going to be there, though.
they'll be a part of that. So it's a scary step, and it's a big step, but that's what I have available to offer to you. So it's either return to your addiction or make a choice to get healthy. And
Yeah, but what if, I know it sounds stupid, but like, what if this whole experience is enough to be like, I'm done, I don't want to do this?
well, let me say, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I know 2 things. 1, this whole experience is not enough, and 2, I'm not going to talk you into it. I'm offering you a gift, and if you choose not to take it, Keith's not going to let you come home. You're sure not going back there. So you got to find a place. And listen, look at me. At least look at me. You don't have to do this. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's okay with me. Don't do it.
I'll do it. I don't care.
Okay? Listen, I know it's scary. I'm glad you made that decision. Sara, I'm calling on the same decision from you.
I mean, it's scary. Would it be for the rest of my pregnancy?
Absolutely, for the rest of your pregnancy,
Yeah,
Sara.
well,
Yeah.
is that,
Yeah,
okay.
so we have appointments with OBs in Texas set up immediately. We have a nurse here, an RN, to escort you back to Texas into the care of a whole team of physicians and clinicians. We have an OB on staff.
For the last 3 months?
Therapist. Sarah, you're in a women's only program surrounded by women who are all in recovery. The professionals are all expert in exactly what you need. And Sarah, we have a lot of work to do. This is an awesome day in your life. I know it's really uncomfortable, but you know what? It's also rather beautiful.
Yes.
Let's take a journey, Sarah.
Do it.
So far.
It's been fun.
It's just so far.
Listen, I'm real uncomfortable begging somebody to save their own life.
No, my
it's-
answer is like, yes, but I just wanted to know more.
You'll know more once you get there.
Well, I guess so.
And if you don't like it, then you can leave. But do know when you leave, I am calling the police and
I
reporting
would
it.
too if I were you.
I mean, I have to. I don't have any choice. I have to protect your baby. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.